Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PRC-IAPN Roundtable. And as always, we want to thank everyone who tunes in and joins us each and every Saturday evening. And as always, we're by our esteemed leader, Reverend Edward Sott, and with our guest, our positive brother, Sierran, and then also Star and Ravenhawk is joining us this evening. Let's get the conversation started.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is the second part of part two of the last conversation we had last week regarding coming out of the broom closet. Last week we discussed the fact is that we have that there's no reason to be ashamed of being witches and no reason to nowadays to be out of the broom closet, so to speak, because being in the broom closet basically you're hiding from who you are. We discussed that last week. Now today we're going to discuss some of the reasons why we shouldn't have to hide from things anymore. We shouldn't have to be in the closet, so to speak, and come out and be proud to be what we are. We're witches. We should be proud that we are witches. Correct. We shared a couple personal stories last week on coming out. When we came out as children, some of us have a long term. Are we looping again?
No, we're good.
I'm echoing.
I hear you good.
Sure, that might be on you though. One moment. Sharon, put your headset in.
Can you hear me?
Put your buds in, Sharon.
Hey, 1 second.
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna mute him for just a second here while he gets prepared.
Because he was echoing in my end. Anyway,
go ahead.
As I was saying though, we're basically we're sitting and we're having a situation where people are being ashamed to be out of the closet, out of the broom closet, being a witch. They're still afraid. And I don't feel we have any reason to be afraid of it anymore. Back in the 80s, yes. Back in the 70s, yeah, we still were being persecuted immensely. Now it's not so much. Now it's almost common to be a witch. So this is what we're going to be discussing today.
Yeah, because as I said last week, basically I've been out ever since I started this whole roller coaster with IAPN radio back in 2012. And even though I came into the community back in 2003, basically I was not really leery about being out at all, because being how I'm in front of people on a daily basis, it doesn't really faze me much. And then back in 2016, was it 2013? 13 or 14, when I got publicly outed by my local newspaper for being hosting a witchy podcast. It's like in a small town with about 7 or 8 different Christian churches. So it's like, whatever.
A friend of mine approached me yesterday. He said he was in a restaurant. He's a truck driver, so he travels a lot. He was in a restaurant, and he noticed somebody with a pentacle tattooed on their wrist. So he turned around and said, "Oh, nice pentacle." Right? The person immediately hid the pentacle, like they were ashamed. And it's like, or afraid that because someone commented on the pentacle that thing. If you're wearing your symbol openly, don't be ashamed and don't be afraid to wear it. Don't be don't be proud.
Right. So it was a tattoo they had on their wrist.
Yeah, tattoo on their wrist.
Okay, so then that could be, several different instances in the case of either they're ashamed or and they're not out of the closet, which makes no sense if it's on their wrist, tattooed, no less, or they have not had the money to have it covered up and they've changed denominations. Don't forget there are ex pagans, I won't even call them ex witches, I have no idea what to call them, that would become the most staunch advocates for Christianity and why they should not be witches. So a
Well,
lot of them, they may not have the money to put something else on top of it or whatever. And, mentioning it now, they're ashamed that people can still see it or something. I mean, who knows? We don't know unless that person told us.
Right.
yeah, but
Sure.
even if they don't know, it's the point of the matter is if you are new in the craft or you are coming out, you are a member of the craft, even new or old, right? And you are hiding yourself from it, don't. There's no reason to. Is what I'm trying to say. There's all reason to be proud of our religion.
Absolutely.
The Christians wear their faith openly,
Absolutely. It's the
right?
reason that I do this exact same thing, because I feel like if they can do it, so can we, you know.
Why
But
can't we do it?
why not? It's not even up for debate or question to me in my head, because I have all the same rights that everybody else do.
Right.
But I do understand in the atmosphere that we're in right now, it feels like at any time you could be attacked for anything just being different from what they consider the norm.
Just from being different.
Things that were acceptable a few years back is no longer quite as acceptable now. Despite what we may think, suddenly everything's under attack as to our rights or
Everything.
not
Yeah.
rights, and you know, even when you mention the Constitution with different things, everything's just so up in the air
Different.
right now as
Right.
to do
Hell,
you have
even the
that right, really?
vocabulary, even the way we speak is different from 10 years ago.
Right.
But
Correct.
Things are just so out there right now and skewed that
what I would like to,
but the whole idea is to learn to be proud of who you are and
right,
not live
in fear of
of
being
anyone,
and
because you have that right. You have the law on your side.
yeah, and don't be offended either because somebody. The other part of it is to our pagan brethren. Don't be offended either if somebody approaches you on your pentacle and so forth like this and actually ask you about it.
Mhm.
If they ask you what it represents or what it means, instead of coming up to you and saying, "Well, you're a witch or bruja," or turn around and call and say, Satan worshiper and so forth. Okay, yes, then you're being accosted.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
but on the other hand, if they're up asking you, well, what does that represent? Right?
Well, that's
That,
curiosity, and they want to know.
That's a curiosity question at that point. Then they would like to know. Those are the people that we should be willingly and openly able to sit there and talk to and sit there and go, all right, well, it represents the five elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit,
Right.
surrounded by the
And
universe.
you can explain it from many different angles, but for the majority of people, when people ask me, which they do all the time, I kind of explain it to them. I said, well, tell me what you're representing. What does that cross mean to you? And then they explain,
Mhm.
which I kind of tune out. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do tune out when they explain that. And then I tell them, well, to me, I'm going to make it simplified for you. We, as the human being inside, representing the five elements. If you stand as a human being, even the medical symbols for it is us standing, with the five out. And I said you can put the circle as the gods and goddesses protecting us.
Mhm.
I said,
Right.
how
Real
does that
simple.
help you? And usually they kind of take to that. They're like, oh, I said, and then they would start with the one true God, and I'm like, that's to you. On my
That's
side,
to
I've got a ton,
exactly.
over
That's to
5
you.
million of them coming at me, and I enjoy being with a whole bunch of them and understanding them and learning about them. And to me, it's the fact that I've got all of them ready to reach out and protect me and work with me. I said, that's on you if you want to use one or work only with one. But for me, this is what it is. Simple.
Now,
Right.
the other thing is if you're non-pagan, okay, if you're to our non-pagan viewers who are out there,
Mhm.
non-pagan viewers, please, we're not afraid. The pagans who are out of the broom closet that actually wear their symbols openly and express ourselves honestly is who we are. we're not afraid to explain, as Star said, not afraid to explain what our symbols mean to us.
Right.
Like you Christians aren't afraid to explain your cross. We're not afraid to explain our pentacles.
Exactly.
We'll be
Right.
happy to explain it. If you are accosted, however, there are going to be there's some guidelines which you should follow. Though, if you're brand new in the craft and you're accosted, even if you're not new in the craft and you're accosted, guidelines, simple things, guidelines to follow. First of all, don't leave the building you're in, running away from the person accosting you. Ask for a manager. You're on camera in 98% of the buildings.
Right.
The person accosting you, right? This happened to somebody recently. Okay, that's why I'm going to bring this up. The person accosting you, right, is saying you're a Satanist, you're going to hell, yada yada, so forth, and you know, pointing their finger, and then all of a sudden starts getting a little bit aggressive, right? Call for a manager of the place. The person is assaulting you, because there's a difference between assault and battery. If they don't lay their hands on you, it's not battery, but it is assault if they're verbally assaulting you. At that point, stand your ground, be calm, ask for a manager's presence, know that you're on camera, because if they continue their action, then ask for police presence to be involved.
Agree with that.
Because
it can escalate fast.
Because it can escalate. But ask for a manager and be ready to dial 911 if you have to and call the police. You are being assaulted.
Right.
Wait in that building. Do not leave that building. Do not leave that presence, that public area, because the rest of the public is seeing what's going on, right? You have witnesses there. You have the camera as a witness. So if that goes to court or anything like that, you're protected under the law. Because as we said, there is freedom of religion in our country.
Right.
Okay, you're free to practice your religion just as much as a Christian or anybody else is free to practice theirs. So if someone is accosting you, right, by all means, don't just run away and things. Stand your ground. Be
now. Okay, not right now.
Stand your ground and be firm about it, but don't be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
No need to.
Right.
Just be firm, stand your ground, and ask for a manager, and explain to the manager what's going on. But always maintain yourself in that public presence while this is going on. Do not, because it's happened in a store, okay, to this person, and they end up running out of the store. They were chased out of the store by the person accosting them.
And what happened to them?
They managed to get away from the person, but they had no proof that it even happened.
Okay, that's the part that I wanted you to say about their proof or not, because I think it's true. In this day and time, there are so many little things that we can buy these days very easily on eBay, Etsy, whatever, little cameras that we can have on our persons that gets activated the minute, or you can slightly touch it without them knowing what it is, and it activates and you can start recording. I think that's your best bet, because I hate to tell people this. In the world that we live in, I lived in a building a few years ago that was before I bought this, one of the top 100 buildings in the United States. You know, everything is there, movie theater downstairs, doorman 24-hour doorman, everything. And the girl was raped right outside. This was in New Jersey, and no one, that doorman said, I don't want to get involved. I'm not being paid that kind of money. They did not. They called 911, but they stayed back. She still got raped and all those different things. You cannot always depend on people to do the right thing, and so you have to protect yourself. You become, I believe in being self-reliant also. As a female, I guess, to me, male and females handle things very differently. We see things from a different point of view.
Right.
I agree.
I'm small. I've always been short, and and I took a lot of martial arts when I was younger. I'm disabled now, but I still feel like I don't want to feel like because I'm disabled, I could be threatened and someone will feel like they can hurt me. I will still stand up and literally sound like I'm ready to pull out a sword or something from somewhere, because I've got weapons on my walker. They just don't know where they are. It's just that you have to learn to also have that on your side where you're like, this is being recorded. I just wanted you to know. Now go ahead.
Right,
Talk.
exactly.
You know,
Right.
and you're letting them know.
Feel
So
free to
anything they
inform me.
do, whether they
It's
be
right here
legal
on
or
camera.
not, is on them.
Right.
And stand your ground, be very firm about everything, you know, and it depends on how your personality is and how you handle it from there.
Yeah, depending how you
Don't
handle it.
always, if you know, if you try those things and no one steps up to help you, you have to do something for yourself as well.
Right,
Do
and
not just rely on everything, and
You can't depend on nobody.
wear protections on yourself. We are witches, we are creative, we
Thank
are
you.
magical beings.
Holy
Use
shit.
the things that you know to help you as well, magically in the mundane world as well. I don't think anyone should walk around anymore these days. People are being attacked because of their skin color, their facial features, or just about anything these days.
For
Right.
anything. Thank
Right.
you.
So protect yourselves. Carry something. Protect yourself. Don't just depend on
Always,
others. I'm
always,
sorry.
exactly.
Mhm.
right,
Right.
I've never been of the mindset. I've never called a police officer for help. I don't think of them as people I reach out to for help. I never have.
but don't be afraid to is what I said.
Right.
When you're being
Yeah.
accosted,
Yeah.
stand your ground. Don't be afraid to especially if you can't get a manager or anything. Do not, like I said, never leave the presence of the store you're in. Don't take off.
Right.
Right.
That's a good
Okay,
idea
don't
too.
run away.
Stay in
Stay-
public view, so
Stay in
you
public
have
view.
many
Where
witnesses.
everybody
so
can
they
see.
hear it.
Exactly.
And then be ready to sit there and maintain your calm, maintain a calm demeanor. That is a key aspect. You want to maintain a calm demeanor, regardless of the fact that the person might be getting aggressive. You maintain a calm
Mhm.
demeanor.
Correct.
Okay. Do not get all. Don't get aggressive. Just maintain your calm. Maintain your cool. Let them get aggressive. If they put their hands on you, they're assaulting you and battering you.
And you got your right to defend yourself.
And then
Yep,
you have to
that's the
defend
part
yourself at that point.
Exactly.
At that point, you can defend yourself.
At
However-
that point, defend your
Just,
body.
right. At the same token, too, right, be ready to call 911. Because even showing a phone with 911 on it can be perceived by the person accosting you. Like, one of the things that I would do, what I have done in the past, is I've actually sit there and I have 911 on speed dial on my phone. And we
Yeah.
all do with the emergency, you put number on the phone. Right?
Then there's also
Is I go like,
on most phones where you can actually just all you have to do is just hold down the
yeah,
number 9 and it'll automatically do it.
right.
Oh,
But you
cool! I didn't know that. See, that's a new thing. I'm glad for that. You know, but I like these new things that they have that you can buy now. That little things, the watch, or all of it,
right,
that can
yeah,
turn on
your
cameras and
phone
everything
watch,
for
right.
yourselves.
And the thing about it is, you with your
Oh, you
phone,
have one.
cell phones, okay?
Yeah.
With your cell phones, just go like this, right? To the person accosting you, just go like this. Right away, they don't know if you're recording them because of the fact that your screens are black a lot of times, right? They don't know if you're recording or whatever. You could already have dialed 911. See, the threat is there, okay, to back the person down who's accosting you. You know what I mean?
Actually, 911 is a great tool to use because I trust them. They record things, the 911 people. Not
Oh,
the
yeah,
police
they
so
do.
much, but the 911 operators, they are very helpful. They'll record to the very last minute until you hang up, and even then, they will keep calling back.
Right, exactly. So
I trust them, and I would depend on them more than I would the police.
right, but they will then call the police and call
Yeah.
the police in to thing. But the point is, stay your ground, stay present in the public view.
Yeah.
I do things on a different approach. I welcome people to do that to me. I
Well-
actually pay them. Please make my day. I'm bored.
Well, don't get me.
I'll
Don't
make
get me.
you a believer. Trust me.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Karen. I mean, being an open pagan, but you're going to have those who actually will accost.
No, I mean, granted, when was it? In 2016, I was in Pennsylvania. This only happened once. So this one guy looked at me. He goes, "Oh, so you one of them Satanist type dude? You believe in the devil?" And I wasn't going to argue with the guy. I said, "You know what? Yes. Do you have children's blood, or I could drink? I'm thirsty."
Sometimes
Homeboy
the way
talk,
you
he
answer
ain't
them
talking
like
to me
Tell
for
them off.
they tend to
that.
back off.
Yo, that neighbor ain't talked to me for the rest of the whole year while I was there.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I
Sometimes
said,
just the way you say certain things make them back off from you. So stuff like
thank
However,
you. Remember, it's
how,
not what you say, it's how you say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then again too, we have to be careful not to perpetuate the myths about
And you're right. You're right. You don't want to provoke either.
not
And with
provoke or perpetuate
It's
the
not
myths.
so much in on honestly speaking in antagonistic situations. You're not perpetuating anything in terms of that. At least that's what I don't believe that part
mhm.
because you're
All
not
right.
an antagonistic persons have already made their decisions. There's nothing to
Well, true,
perpetuate. You know, that's why they're attacking you or being aggressive
true.
with you. So there's nothing to defend there anymore because you know they're not going to listen to what you're saying.
And there's a lack of respect. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God. Let
You
me let
know,
me let me share this with you. This happened in my parents' building last week. On the elevator were four old people in this elevator. I mean, old. These guys are like 80, 90,000 years old already. And I can't. I walk with my staff every day. You know what I mean? They know the idea behind the staff. His mind is not for no one else to touch. If you want to touch it, you have to ask permission because there's things in here that you would not understand. So this lady that's very rude and obnoxious in the building that nobody likes. There's always that one.
Right.
So she took it upon herself to grab my staff and rattle it back and forth.
oh my goddess, no, she
Then I
didn't.
then I looked at her and she goes, "Oh, I don't believe in what you do. My God can." I said, "Fuck you and fuck your God." I said, "First of all, you don't do shit like this." She goes, "What's gonna happen? I'm gonna die. Maybe you're doing the world a favor if you do. I don't know." What I'm trying to say is we have to respect our boundaries also
Oh
against
yeah.
people who don't believe in that because they're going to test us to believe and make them believe in something they don't want to believe in or they don't believe in.
And
I don't disagree with that.
right.
Okay, I ain't gonna agree.
One of the things too is I do have to say, at no time do you see anyone ever going up to a person with a one of those chains on with the cross and everything and going, "Oh, that's so beautiful," and
Thank
touching it.
you.
At no time,
So
respect.
why do they
Absolute
think
respect.
they have that
So them
power?
to do that in any way shows their utter lack of disrespect, not just for your items, but for your choices and for you
My
as a human.
beliefs,
It is an
exactly.
aggression already from the get-go in my head.
Oh, I don't disagree with either one of you. Okay,
Right.
that's when it
And
becomes a physical. To me, that's when it becomes a physical accosting.
right.
Okay, and that is a point of what I said. If you are smart about it, maintain your ground,
There's
protect
a way to
yourself.
handle it and there's a way not to handle it. You're
Right,
right.
Do not touch. This is my space. Why would you touch
right.
my space?
Would I go to your kitchen, open your fridge, and eat your food? No.
But we all have seen something like that, if not undone to us, but we've seen it done to others. I don't care
Right.
who we are, we've all seen it in
It
one way or
happens.
form or another.
Right.
Exactly.
And the fact that it happens, that we can all say without a doubt we've either seen it or it's happened, tells you the disrespect.
And this is something I talk to my young witches in my group about. This experience will happen 90% of the time to y'all. There's going to be people that will not accept what you are. They will not walk the same footsteps you are walking. You have to be ready for some ridicule. You're going to have to be ready for some negative feedback. That's going to happen. People will insult you. People will go after you. People will even try to hurt you physically because y'all don't see eye to eye in what y'all believe in.
But the thing about it is
Now,
how.
the one thing that I'm going to chime in here about is that with me being a first responder in the community, I am one who will assist.
All right.
And like I said, I'm also one who calls things as I see it. And the way that I approach things is with a positive attitude and try to get to try to de-escalate the situation if
Mm-hmm.
at
In
all
fact.
possible. And that's to me, that's the best way of handling it is to do your best to de-escalate it, and that way things don't get you don't wind up uh,
Word.
crossing the line that you can't come back from.
Right, right.
I
Oh,
agree.
I totally agree. This is what I was saying earlier about how we need to maintain your calm, maintain your cool. Okay, maintain your one thing about the witchcraft is a discipline. Our practice is a discipline. It's something we not only believe we practice, we work on, and we know ourselves. We know ourselves, and we have to practice our craft.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, if it is a discipline, we'll maintain that discipline in a situation where it's needed. Before we continue this conversation, we are now at time for break.
Right.
We're going to go to commercial break, and then we're going to come back and continue our conversation. So stay with us, folks.
All right. Stick around. We'll be right back right after these words.
I just walked into this coffee shop. You'll never guess what I found. All the help is deeply engrossed in metaphysical times. You should too. I'm at the Egyptian, 475 Park Avenue in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Get your very own copy for free, and we're open till 10.
Sister Moon, Apothecary and More is a collaboration of local island witches bringing you handcrafted tools for ritual, amazing apothecary, custom vinyl work, merchandise, and so much more. But we are not just an online store. We are a sisterhood, a platform, and a voice for everything that is magical. Join us for our famous Tarot Tuesdays from 11 to 4 Eastern Standard Time for a discounted reading with our amazing in-house intuitive reader and priestess, Wolf Spirit Energy, Beverly Oberlin. You can find us on Facebook at Sister Moon Store or on the web at sistermoon.shop. So fly on over and stop in for a spell.
All right. We are back with our roundtable discussion, and we are making some very good key points that everyone in the community should know. And this can also apply to when you're at festival, even, because you're going to deal with those who will come out and protest at our gatherings, because it has happened in several cities, and I don't foresee that going away anytime soon.
No, it's not.
Every
No.
year. Every year it happens at Witches Fest in New York City.
It just
the first few years it didn't happen, and then Pagan Pride, it was happening to Pagan Pride every year, and suddenly one year they showed up at Witches Fest, and they've been coming every year since. Last year with the pandemic, when we went back out for the first time last year, as we came out, it's always the Christians, whatever denomination of Christianity they are, and they come with giant crosses, they loud with megaphones and the whole bit. I called the police. I had to have them lower their volume or take it to the other side of the street because they're right there disrupting everything. One of them even shoved me with my walker because he wanted to make sure the giant cross was taken down the middle of the street, and the police had to remove them and all of that. And it can get really bad. And last year and I guess the way I spoke to them and everything else, they were all saying, "Did she just curse us all?" And they were like backing up and moving to the other side of the street.
Yes, I did.
Every time they kept looking at me, I would be, "Hi."
How you doing? Good.
And every time I waved, they backed up some more because I literally said to them, "I've been waiting for you."
Okay.
They told me how to handle you guys. And they're like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I've been waiting for you. Come here." And I went and I forgot the words I used exactly. And I just did like if I'm doing one of those giant spells. And I said, "So mote it be." And I did it really dramatic and everything. And the guy just stopped. And he goes, "Did she just curse us?" I said, "Take it however you wish." Toodaloo. And they backed up to the other side of the street. Megaphone disappeared. Everything else. I said, "Hi." I kept doing like that the whole time, and they kept backing up and stuff like that. So whatever it is, I was told the night before I woke up from a dream, and it told me to tell them you're waiting for them. And that's what I did.
Well, like I said, even if you approach them with using a bit of humor, or anything else, or a little bit of the stereotyping that we have on us doesn't hurt. in a lot of instances, especially if you're being accosted by a large crowd of people, like in your case.
Well,
There.
that's the part. That's the part because we've been dealing with them for years. We were nice. We were calm. We would try to talk to them, engage them. We tried everything, and they kept getting more and more aggressive each year to the point where people got hurt.
Well,
That's
then
when
that,
I said, enough. I've had it.
yeah,
We've done everything the
Exactly.
nice way. Even children were doing the children's activities and had
right.
drawn like pentagrams and all these things, and they were talking about the goddess and the elements and different things, and they were yelling at the kids. We
Well,
just said that's enough. They're being unsafe with us. We had the police come and we said
That
you're not moving because
I
the
think
minute you move, they come right back.
I think that's something we talked about last time video is the level of ignorance, and not in a negative way. Ignorance because they don't know what it stands for.
Well, even if you, but that's what I mean. Everybody at different times try to engage with them and to explain, and they
They
shouted
don't.
above
They
them.
don't want to hear. They don't want to
They
hear
really
it.
don't want to
no,
listen
because
because to them it's a big
They
sin
don't
to
want to
listen
hear it. They don't want to hear it.
because they're not there to listen to us or
Nope.
talk with us. And then
so
what they did was they shared it on YouTube and it was supposedly going viral. And then I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden, everything came down.
well, like I
It,
said,
it,
with all the things that with all the negative, I mean, yes, we're going to get negative press.
Yeah.
What's
Okay,
gonna happen?
it's going to happen, and this is what I want to tell our new outcoming pagans. Don't be afraid of who you are. You're a witch. Be proud to be a witch.
That's it.
Okay, don't be ashamed of it. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
right.
Because being ashamed of being a
Now,
witch is like hypocrisy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay,
I'll tell you something else too. The children, I had to take my hats off to them because as they were yelling at the kids were saying, "Goddess bless you." And then they sang, "We all come from the goddess." The kids were doing this.
that's
Little
what I'm
kids.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
They were
right,
like, and I'm like, and you're yelling? Okay, enough. We
yeah,
had to protect the kids, and that's when a few of the guys that we have, they all came and they stood with, we're not letting you accost the kids. And the
This
kids were
is
like, God has bless you, and all the
Yep.
different things, you know. These are little kids. They were leading the way.
yeah.
this
Well,
And
goes
they were
to
front
this
and
goes
center, and
to
it was us on that one block. Even Reverend, not Reverend, what's his name? Zombie. Is that his name? The
Rob
guy,
Zombie.
Zombie? Rob
Rob.
Zombie. Yes, Rob Zombie. He lives around there with his wife, and every year they would come to our event. And they came
Nice.
again. And when they saw him, they all backed up and moved away. And all he did was walk right through with us, and he always says hi and things like that to us.
that's awesome.
You know, and
That's
I'm just like
awesome.
the people in the community, because like I said, it took us 8 years of fighting with them for them to accept us. We're on our 11th year now, and the community has accepted us there. So now the community is coming out and saying enough,
Right.
you
Right.
know, because they're not
That's
harming
nice.
anyone. They're just having fun and they're giving, they're literally saying, God has blessed you to children. The children are telling them that, but they're still
Right.
getting aggressive with the kids. So at some point, you have to, especially with festivals, if they are constantly doing this, and the cops would come or whomever would come and they would leave. And then as soon as the cops leave, there they back again.
I'm
It's a
gonna stop.
constant thing of looking for. The idea is to disrupt your event
Mhm.
where you cannot hold your event properly.
Right.
Well,
And you know
we
what's the
have
crazy
a
thing about this? As that's affecting us, they sleep good at home.
Huh?
As these little actions that they do affects us and they what we're trying to do, that doesn't affect them whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
no.
It
It
does
Now
not.
doesn't bother
we've
their
And they make
conscience
sure, that's
knowing
the
that.
other thing. They
mhm.
make sure that you don't see the name of their church or whatever, because
Oh,
then they know that you could sue them.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yep.
But they make
Now,
sure that we can't
Earl,
see the
what,
name of their church and different things.
guys? Earl has a statement.
yeah. Now we've got one festival. Well, we have one gathering in Des Moines for Pagan Pride every year, and they always invite the Brotherhood of Steel, which basically is a group of actual swordsmen who basically puts on demonstrations every year at Pagan Pride. And basically, when you've got several of them walking around with full steel, it kind of deters people.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But they are a great group of people. I mean, they are comical actually. Uh,
I can believe it too.
and it's like I mean, the shows they put on, and the one, Mela, the one dude, I get who I would call the ringleader. He, Mela, go lay down, please. Um, and basically, every time they do the demonstration, he'll say that, "Oh boy, I'm gonna die."
See, that's the
Uh,
thing. At least you guys can have steel out. We're not allowed in New York to have anything like that out and about, like in sight. We're not
Not
allowed.
here in Boston either.
You know, so
Unfortunately, it depends on the city and the
we can't have
community.
anyone invited that has, even if you're selling athames, the athames has to be kept in locked cases so that
mhm.
they can look at it. They're not allowed to be unlocked. So we are not allowed technically to have a lot of little things, but I do have Bruce Lee Jr. and a few other things with me. They're tiny and on my body, and no one knows
Okay,
that I'm that
okay.
walker, that I just click the button and they pop up and stuff like that, because you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself.
Inspector Gadget don't got nothing on her right
Yeah,
now.
you gotta MacGyver your stuff, you know.
You okay?
Go ahead, Ed.
Anyway, as I was going to say, like we're all expressing here, and it's very important that we do get this point across. Defend your right to be a pagan, yes. Defend your right to practice your beliefs, yes. If you are accosted, like I said, there are several ways to handle it. One of the best ways to handle it is to maintain your calm. Don't get aggressive. Even though they're getting aggressive, let them get aggressive, because they're not going to change their attitude, but you can change yours.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
Second thing is maintain your presence in a public. We have a user here that says "Merry Meet." This is someone who I've never seen before, and it's good to have you in here, user.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the person over on Facebook. Click on the live video link, and that'll bring you over into StreamYard. That way, we can see who you are.
Brother Edward, I have a question from a young witch.
okay,
How and when do you define what witch you are as a young practitioner?
that's individual. Actually, that's as individual as a person is when you define yourself as a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is no definite answer on that. As an individual, as a person who practices the craft, right? As a person who believes in alternate spirituality, as a person who believes in um, technically that there's nature-based pagan religion, you are technically considered, you can call yourself a witch. That's my answer to the young lady or gentleman.
I answered the lady with at the end of the day, what you put before the word witch doesn't really matter because you are a witch at the end of the night.
Right.
Right.
I want
By
to say
the
good
way,
evening to Patsy
Faye,
and also
Faye,
to Faye, who is joining us. Thank you
Faye,
for tuning in.
Faye is a good friend, a good pagan friend of mine. Her name is Melinda. She
Oh,
happens to be a
very good.
member of the pagan community, and I'd like to welcome her. And she is totally a witch. I've known her for many years. Member of my coven, actually. So
Now,
no,
another instance that I've actually had is somebody will see my pentacle, and I've actually had people get the pentacle confused with the Star of David.
very easily done. And when I normally run into that, Earl, my response is no, it's not a Star of David. Yes, I
Nope.
appreciate the Judaic tradition. However, this is a 5-pointed star. The Star of David is 6 points.
Right.
Something different.
And then sometimes there's a 7-pointed star that's called the fairy star
Right.
that you'll see. And this is to inform our non-pagans out there, so they know. You might see a star with seven points. It's known as a fairy star. It's one worn by pagans of the fairy tradition.
Right.
Don't mess with the fate.
And the Fey folk are.
Yeah, that's one lesson that everybody tends to learn at one point or another. You don't cross the Fey people.
No.
That's not advisable. You basically show them the double the amount of respect that you would for your fellow brothers and sister witches.
That's like talking back to your mom and waiting for your dad to come home. Okay.
Right, right.
You don't do that.
But
I think I
anyway,
have one of the good advices that I can give for the young youth right now is to, first of all, be yourself and knowing that to be this, you have to accept this.
Right.
Learn from these things. Do research. Find someone who knows more about this than you and ask the proper questions.
Right.
Because you
And
ain't gonna learn all this by yourself.
no, and it goes back to the first rule of know thyself.
so,
Also, and I would also say, question everything. Don't take everything at their word of whatever it is they say.
Always
Please
ask
Right.
questions.
And that's from me
Right.
as well, on any one of us.
right,
Question
exactly.
everything. Don't presume or whatever it is.
Well,
And in answer to Kieran's question or statement regarding that person and what type of witch they are, I think we should kind of refrain from a lot of that. I mean, that's my
That's what I
point of view
keep
on it,
telling
because
people. Thank
the
you.
reason is because, and I don't put, like, I'm a reverend, I'm a whatever else. I have so many titles, but I'm just Star. Bottom line is I'm just Star.
Exactly.
And
And yes, we,
are we having
as
fun
always, are Patsy,
tonight?
as always.
as
That
always,
would be
we're
up
now
to
for
Earl.
questions. Yes.
That would be up to Reverend Earl. But bottom line is, people already outside put us into little boxes of where they want to put us to make sure that they kind of disrespect us in a way, because that's why people do that. They put you in little boxes, right? And among witches, here we are, we all doing the same thing again. Your tradition, this tradition, whatever tradition. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a witch. I am not going to allow
it.
anyone to put me in a particular box of what type of witch I am, other than I'm a witch. As to what I
That's it.
practice, you will never know until you come against me.
Thank you.
As simple as that.
Okay, yes, I am a traditionalist witch. Okay, yes, I practice a specific tradition of a craft. But
Right.
and I agree with you and Sharon on this too, and everybody on the panel actually. Do not be afraid to ask us questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Question everything. We'll be
Question
happy to
everything.
answer. We'll be
Don't
happy to
Take our
answer.
word for everything.
Don't take our word for everything. Do your
No.
homework.
Exactly.
Do your
Research.
backup. Read, reinforce what you were teaching.
Right.
The elders, us as elders, we have a responsibility to the pagan community, and that is to teach.
Right.
Right.
And even in my classes, I tell my students, bring your research on the topic. I will tell you as my knowledge is, and then we will discuss what you think you know it as.
Exactly.
Because I
Right.
want you to question everything. And don't go looking on the internet, please. Don't go
No,
on Facebook.
don't read
No.
books.
No.
Do your
Read books.
actual research. Like if you're in college, do your research. Do not
Exactly.
just depend on
Mhm.
people, because so much information is out there.
And from personal
So much.
experience, try to do something easy, hands-on, to get a
Right.
feel for things.
Right.
And,
And something
And
simple.
Edward mentioned something. He said he's a traditionalist. I am such a traditionalist in the sense of I'm a throwback. I'm so deeply rooted in. I am to the point where I am tired of seeing the new books put out on topics that were written by authors from way back.
Way back in the
Already
day.
said it
Thank
and
you.
regurgitated in a different manner and spat out and given to you in a way that is so I don't
Leading.
even know the
It's
word,
not even funny.
miscombobulated, I'm just
Well,
like, what the hell? I'm looking at it going, what did I just read? I can't.
well, okay.
And
Now,
because I've been around so long,
case in point.
huh?
Case in point. Oberon has finally put out his big book that he's been researching for 25 years.
Damn.
So it has finally been published and is out.
Yeah.
Granted, it's like a small phone book, but
It's a lot
I
of
know him
pages.
well. I know him well.
and plus, uh, as of late, my library has grown because my contact at Llewellyn has been sending me regular shipments of new books.
Yeah, I get them
I
too.
got a few books from
And
Llewellyn also.
majority of them I will never read because when I see what the topic is at hand, I'm like, oh, I know exactly which book, what paragraph, and everywhere you got that from. I know where they're getting their researches from. And
Right.
to me, as a traditionalist in that sense, I'm not reading your book. I'm going to go to the person who wrote it initially.
Well,
Perfect.
like when I say I'm a traditionalist, I'm Alexandrian Wiccan.
No, I know what you meant, but
Which
I'm saying the word
yeah.
as exactly what it's meant to be.
Right.
In traditionalist, I will go to the root of everything.
Oh yeah, and
That's why I said I'm not a traditionalist. I'm a throwback.
yeah, I'm a but being even Alexandrian Wiccan, okay, I'm eclectic.
Right.
Alexandrian. I train
Because
my
I like how you know Oberon Zell. I know him. I know Maxine Sanders. We have conversations many times on the phone. She's an awesome woman.
Me
and if you
and
met her, you would be very much enthralled. She's an amazing woman.
Oh yeah.
And so all these people have been wonderful to me, and I'm just not a joiner. I just can't do
Yeah.
the traditions.
And with me,
Exactly. Exactly. I'm the
I've
same
been
boat.
lucky.
I'm by
Let's just
myself.
say
I
I've been
can't.
lucky to be asked to many of these things. I just
Thank you.
not,
It's an honor, but I ride this
yes,
boat
it's an
solo.
honor, and I love them, but not me.
and the past, and I think I am the only one here tonight who basically does not classify myself as a witch. Basically, I am very much eclectic pagan, but I follow a path of antiquity, which means that I do value the traditional old ways.
Okay. See when I hear the word pagan, and even I have it in my Witches Fest USA, a pagan fair.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's pagan covers a heading. All it meant is,
Right, that's an umbrella.
originally the text or the word just simply means a country dweller. Simple
exactly.
as that. That's all it means. Or someone, but people
Agrarian,
in
farmer.
modern times, that's the language. That's why I don't like the words neo-pagan and all those
I don't
different
either.
things that people say.
Yeah, I don't either.
They take language and they bastardize them, I think.
Right. Yeah, because
they bastardize language and they give you a different meaning, entirely different than what it is.
Right. I will basically, I cringe anytime I see somebody using the term neo-pagan. I do not.
I never was a fan of that word either.
Yeah,
no, I do not like it. It to me, it sends off a negative connotation.
Yes.
And that's just me.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm like, please stop using that word. And when you hear many elders using it, that you're like, please stop using that word. And I think it's because they fall into line with what people are saying the word has evolved into. But it's kind of like, how people know,
like
if you mention the word swastika, everybody knows what it is, right? In the modern times.
Mm-hmm.
But that symbol made in the proper
actually a cross.
An ancient Hindu symbol for
Thank
protection.
you.
That's where it came from originally. That's what I mean by.
And the fact that the Nazis have switched that around.
Exactly. Because I would go and I would research that to death, going back when it began and what it means. And so everybody would see it and not realize that it was never called the swastika. It was never meant for this.
No.
But they use it now for these things. And all it meant was it was considered one of the most protective symbols, and it was meant to protect you from certain demons and entities.
Right.
Not just but entities. That's how protective it was.
Right. I'll share this with you. I have a friend who is Pacific country, and I can't say her name, but when I go to her house, in her tradition and her path, there's a yellow swastika for protection in her living room underneath her rug.
And it's not called, if it's for protection, it's not a swastika.
That's what I'm saying, though. But a
Okay,
lot
good.
of people.
Just wanted to make sure we're
No,
sticking.
no, no, no. I
Mhm.
know it's not that. But
Right.
most people that do not have that knowledge, it's going to refer to that.
Now, just to clarify a couple things. The original swastika, if you're going to call it that, calling it that, which I refuse to call it that, is actually known as
It's
a
not.
filfo. It's known as a filfo.
A Bilbo, more of the original cross, if you want to call it that.
FYLFOT.
Right.
FYLFOT.
Right.
Filfo.
Yeah.
Meaning
It's and but you see how they bastardized it, right, Edward?
That's the first thing. Second of all, the symbol of the filfo is not pointing in the same direction as that of the swastika of the neo-national socialists or the National Socialists. The National Socialist swastika was a reversed filfo, with a counterclockwise direction where the point.
They twisted it, yeah.
That's all they
That's
did.
what they meant to do with it. That's the reason it was used. They meant to
It was used
deliberately meant to bastardize
right
it.
as the same as the pentagram. By the way, and this is to clarify something for our new pagans, the pentagram and the pentacle. Okay, the pentacle, which is an upright five-pointed star or upright pentagram. Okay, the pentagram is reversed. It's also worn by a third degree.
It's just reversed. That's all it is.
A pentagram actually is a five-pointed star. Period. No circle around it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The symbol that's often referred to as the pentagram, which is the reverse pentacle, was actually used by Anton LaVey in 1952 when he formed the Church of Satan as a bastardization of the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
And it was a combination of combining his roots or belief in paganism as opposed to Catholicism, and because his mother just happened to be very abusive. But we can go into details on symbols and symbolism, which we'll do on a following show because I would love to discuss that so we can all clarify what some of our symbols mean.
Right.
All right,
we're down to
just to let people know that a lot of the things and the symbols and stuff that they know really aren't what they are. That's why I cannot look at certain books. I cannot read certain new books because a lot of them are taking forward the new terms, and I'm sitting there going, you didn't do your research, and you guys keep writing these books over and over, and you did not do your research. If you did, you would not keep repeating the same bloody words. It's annoying.
You said bloody.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
It's frustrating.
Okay, we have 8 minutes left, so let's get final words from everybody here.
Okay, I'll go first. For the young witches out there, be yourself. Don't be nothing you're not supposed to be. Don't learn something you're not supposed to learn. Stay on your lane, baby step things. There's no rush. And just be yourself. And remember, be the witch you want to be, not the witch the world wants to see.
Right.
Okay. Should I go next?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, if you're new, I would suggest question everything. Anyone and everyone. I don't presume because you're the almighty Puba priest or priestess or whomever. Question them. If they do things that make you uncomfortable, back off. If they make you uncomfortable initially, there's a reason. Let your intuition play out. You are a magical being as well. So back up, back away, and say, I'll be back, and walk away. Question everything, myself, anybody else. Do not take the word of everything. And just be yourself. Trust who you are as that person. And as Karen said, take the baby steps. I would suggest the older books initially written by, I could literally tell you every book that I see now written, I could tell you where they got it from and who is the original authors of some of the writings. And go to those people instead because they had it written properly, and what's twisted around now is not what it is.
No, it's not.
Do your research, please. Not the internet, not Facebook, but your actual research. I would suggest it wholeheartedly.
I agree.
My thoughts and words here especially to our young practitioners coming in, do not trust anything. Do not use TikTok. Oy. I see so much bad information being portrayed on the internet, on TikTok, that I I just it just it's I can't put the word to it that I want to use. But do not use TikTok. Do not go by that information. And good evening, Brian. Thanks for tuning in from Puff, actually. So, oh, and Byron's with him too. So, good evening, Byron, dear. Appreciate you listening in as well. And final thoughts here. Yes, please do your research. Get books by well-known authors in the community. They may be gone, but their books are still
Yeah,
valuable.
yeah. Ask people about books.
I agree.
Okay, and from my point of perspective, to let everybody know, bottom line is new witches, young and old, don't be ashamed of being a witch. Be ready and prepared to, like I said, when you're coming out of the broom closet, be ready and prepared to stand your ground, stand firm, be who you are. Question everything, as all my colleagues have all said. Okay? There are plenty of us elders out here are more than willing to, you can reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to talk to you. Okay? But just be prepared to reach out to us. Don't let forums like this, like our forum of the roundtable, be a guide to reaching out to elders. I'm one of those elders in the community that'd be happy to speak with you. I'm sure Star likewise.
Yeah.
Right? We'll be happy to direct you in the right way of, or the proper ways of learning. Not the right way of the past, because there's no one right way, but the proper ways of learning the craft.
Yeah. Oh, and one last thing in response to Earl as well. We can't say don't go to TikTok, because that's what they're all doing. All the young people, even older people, all going to TikTok. So what we have to do is, if we can, look at Michael Correll and others, that what they're doing is because they see all the damage on TikTok, get out there and do our own so that we can combat it. Because if you ignore the platform, it doesn't mean they're not going to go there. But if we take the platform on and use it for what it is, we can also help fight some of the misinformation. We can't ignore the things, because unfortunately we're older, and there are a lot of new things that they're going to keep inventing and creating that will draw the young people. So we have to step into that arena and help fight misinformation. We can't ignore it, unfortunately. I don't want to even learn TikTok, but I'm going to have to.
Yep. All right, we got 3 minutes.
So at this last point of statement, I'm going to say, Merry part and blessed be everybody. Thank you for attending with us this evening and listening to us. And good to see all of my friends and my witchy family in there. And I'd like to say, just keep coming back, keep watching our shows. We have more interesting topics and conversations coming up. And and blessed be everybody.
And as always, if people have questions, feel free to reach out to any of us, and you can send me direct email to earl@iapnradio.net, and be more than happy to sit down and have a discussion with you. No problem. But as always, keep everyone safe around you. Enjoy the weather while we have it, and get outside and do something this weekend. Pleasant journeys, everyone. We are going to be out for the evening. Thank you for joining us.
Peace.